The first one is the EP, the Holy Roller Novocaine EP, and Wicker Chair is on that album, on that EP, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Was that the first song you guys wrote?
That was the first song I wrote on the guitar. Yeah.
What were you writing on before?
A cappella.
Just singing that?
Yeah, we would just sing songs a cappella. Didn't know how to play instruments. Then one day, I was at one of my friend's house and he was playing a guitar, and I was about to go buy a guitar. Actually, I think I had just bought a guitar, but I didn't know anything. And I looked at his fingers, and he was playing a C chord into an F, and was just kind of moving his fingers around. And I was thinking, man, you have to remember these chords, remember them. And so I went home and was just messing around, and we were in the garage, and Jared was actually sitting in a white wicker chair. I think we were stoned or something, so I just went, brum, 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 in a little white wicker chair, unsuspicious and nobody cared. I was really talking about him being stoned and my mom not knowing it. But then it just kind of started flowing, and I just started writing, lyrics about helpless situations and people that you care about that, don't really care enough for themselves to get some help.
Rock music is probably the only art form where the less you know, the better the chance you have of improving it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Youth and Young Manhood, is that a title from Dad's Bible? Is that where that came from?
Yeah, it's from the back of his Bible. There's like this tree of life, and every branch that sprouted out, it has a different I don't know what you call it. I mean, it's not titles,
I think it was the tree of Moses' life, and it showed like youth and young manhood, and then it grew, went all the way up through his life.
There were actually a lot of them that were amazing, and when we first saw it, we were like, well, that's album number 1, that's number 2, that's number 3. But then we got into this 5-syllable thing, and so we just kind of kept that going.
So every album title has 5 syllables?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I never noticed that before.
Except for the EP.
Except for the EP, yeah. Well, that's cool. And that Youth and Young Manhood was the album that I guess really caught on in UK and Europe, and then kind of went from there.
Mm-hmm.
How the heck how did that album, first of all, even get released in the UK and Europe? And why would they care?
Well, when we when we did the EP, we were going to go in. I think our record label was just kind of showing people. I know that they showed it to a couple of the guys from the Strokes, and they were intrigued by us and wanted to know more. So we went in to make an album, and halfway through the 4 weeks, they had a tour booked, and we were just like, what do you mean a tour? We played like not that many shows as a band.
We hadn't played 10 shows.
Yeah, we were scared to death, and the tour that they had booked us on, it was like this magazine had like this tour in the UK, and it was all of the hottest bands. And some of these bands, the members were like 30-something years old, and they're like, and we're just like, holy shit, what are we gonna do? And we got there and went to our first show, and it was sold out, and every other show was sold out. And then we came back home and to finish the album, and had so many more songs because I had just seen my first taste of the lifestyle. And so I came home and I wrote Tranny and Spiral Staircase.
And then didn't you go on tour with U2 that same year?
No, we went with the Strokes that year. We went with U2 on
the following year, following the album.
Yeah.
What was it like touring with them? I mean, you're 2 albums deep into a career at this point, and then you've got the biggest band in the world asking you to go on the road with them.
It was crazy. We knew about them, but we didn't know enough about them really until we toured with them. We kind of got the whole rundown of their entire story, their whole back catalog once we toured with them. I mean, we knew their singles, but we had no idea how amazing of a band they were until we toured with them. And it was cool, they kind of took us under their wings for that whole tour and taught us a lot of stuff that we still use to this day, like on the business side of touring and stuff. And as far as lighting and just having, a really big, unique show. So I don't know, it was crazy, especially for, I guess for all of us, because we were all pretty young, but it was pretty insane.
Yeah, the attention to detail that they put into everything is just like, before every show, they're in there watching the lights and changing stuff, and that's one thing that we don't even sound check most of the time. The first chord we hit is the first one of the show.
You must really trust your crew.
I think we're just lazy, actually. We've got a couple of crew members that we don't really trust.
It keeps them honest.
We trust that they understand that they'll get fired if they mess up.
And finally, with Only by the Night, was Sex on Fire a last-minute addition to that record?
It wasn't a last-minute addition. It was just kind of one of those that we were all scratching our head as to whether or not, where did it fit on the album, because, it was kind of a standout song. And we went in there like we had recorded the song, but then one day, just goofing around, Matthew and Jared were over, while they were playing it, were over there on like this keyboard going doop, 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 and playing this little beat with it. And so they pushed record and laid it down. And once that all came together, it was like, man, this is obviously has the feel of a huge song, but where are we going to fit this on the album? So I voted for it to not make the album, but they voted me out. So that's how they do with most of our big singles. I vote for them to not be on the record just because I'm silly. But.
Have you heard the Bat for Lashes cover of You Somebody?
I just heard it the other day.
No, I just got it sent to me.
Oh, what do you think of it?
I think it's pretty cool.
Church organ, tambourine, and that voice of hers?
Yeah, I love Bat for Lashes. Yeah, I thought it was great. There's been quite a few, though. Like Lee did when I'm Knocked Up, which is maybe my favorite. It's really, really...
She's the Swedish singer,
yeah. You should check that. That's probably one of the best covers anyone's ever done.
And then we've had a bunch of people do remixes for us. Like CSS did one, a few other really cool people.
What would they remix?
The Bucket.
Oh, okay.
It's cool. They totally did their own interpretation of it too. Like it's none of the original music whatsoever.
Justin
all,
Timberlake,
like, really beach vibey.
Justin Timberlake did one.
Pharrell did one.
Mark Ronson.
We usually, a lot of people submit remixes to us, but we usually only choose the ones that are completely different. And usually it's someone that isn't, in a rock band or anything like that. We kind of want something different. Because it's pretty interesting when you write a song and you hear someone else, give their interpretation of it.
And we're gonna try to be the first band that makes more publishing money off of remixes and covers than we actually did the original songs.
It's just weird sometimes if you're having a party at your house or something like that. You kind of feel embarrassed to play your own songs. So the only way you can do that is to play remixes of your own songs, to let people know, like, look, you're in my house. We're listening to my music.
You have started work on a follow-up to this record, haven't you?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean...
You must be writing all the time.
Pre-production.
If we do sound check, we aren't playing songs that people have heard before, because that's just boring, If we have pedals that we use on, say, Sex on Fire or Use Somebody, instead of going in there and playing those songs, we're just going to try to write a new song and use those pedals on it. And so we have quite a few songs that are showing great potential.
Somebody told me that somebody's learning to play the slide guitar.
Yeah, Matt plays a little. I play a little. Matt plays it better. He knows.
He's actually taking a lesson on his iPhone right now for slide guitar as we speak.
I'm trying to learn the slide keyboard. Just put a little slide on my hand.
Do you have any idea when you got touring commitments probably for the rest of this year, right?
Up till almost November, and then,
I'd say fall of 2010.
For the new record?
Yeah.
Any titles yet, other than the fact that it's got to be 5 syllables?
We've got a couple kicking around.
There's a couple.
I had one the other night that was great, and I was drunk and I didn't write it down, and the next day I was so mad. Or it was great when I was drunk.
Well, what was it, vodka soda lime?
Something like that.
I think that's what That's probably what it was.
Well, I appreciate the time, guys. Good luck with the show tonight. Good luck with the rest of the tour. Looking forward to whatever comes next.